proudly presents NCAA men's basketball featuring the Loyola Ramblers and the Chicago State Cougars. Thanks for joining us tonight from the Gentile Arena here at Loyola University. I'm Andy Mazer alongside Chris Sparks. Glad to have you with us here in Rogers Park tonight as the Ramblers come home off of a 1-1 trip to Kansas City. They're feeling pretty good about themselves after that one win against Boston College.
I mean, you talk about a game to get your team flowing with who you want to be for the rest of the season. This was a game against Boston College, Andy, and we saw the resurgence of Braden Norris, much needed for the Ramblers.
So the Ramblers come in at 3-3. Chicago State is 2-6, and the man that makes things go for Chicago State is Wesley Cardet Jr.
I mean, this guy can do everything, Andy. He can play inside, he can play outside, he shoots threes, lots of them. He can create off the dribble and get to the rim. A top 60 player in this class for the nation from Florida, coming up to the cold weather of Chicago, and has been an absolute stud for Chicago State.
And for the Loyola Ramblers, you mentioned his name already, Braden Norris, who had a nice game against Boston College.
Well, we know what Braden's capable of on the floor as a leader, as a coach on the floor. He's a career 41-42% three-point shooter. Hadn't found his rhythm until the Boston College game. Sometimes it just takes to get away from the friendly confines of your home court, get into a new arena against some stiff competition. Braden always raises his level against these Power 5 teams, and he sure did against Boston College.
All right, it's the Ramblers and the Cougars coming up here from Gentile Arena. Loyola men's basketball presented in part by Loyola Medicine. Loyola Medicine is the official healthcare system and sports medicine sponsor of Loyola Athletics, as nationally recognized expert providing personalized, compassionate care. Learn more at loyolamedicine.org. All right, about to get ready. Get going right here at Loyola at Gentile Arena as the Ramblers taking on Chicago State. You'll see the starting fives: Cardet, John Charles, Green, Davis, and Corbett. For the Cougars, and for the Ramblers, Rubin, Dolan, Watson, Norris, and Dawson. Ramblers starting a two-game homestand, a little mini two-game trip. Stand right here in Chicago, and Ramblers control the opening tip.
Absolute trap game this evening, Andy. Tuesday evening, we talked about this. Coming off playing a Power 5 ACC team in Boston College. Chicago State likes to attack off the dribble. That's something the Ramblers have struggled with all season. Let's see what they can do this evening.
And a good save there by Watson. Quick ball movement. Dawson for three. Nope, that's an air ball. And captured underneath by Corbett.
Really aggressive defense on ball by the Cougars so far this first possession.
Corbett trying to take Rubin to the hole. Does so and banks it in for points. Number 1 and 2 of the game.
Yeah, nice little spin move. They came to play. Chicago State wants this inter-rivalry win tonight.
And now Watson dives inside. Still on the paint. Trying to operate. Lost the handle. And the ball tracked down. And out of bounds to the Cougars.
Yeah, so that's actually an offensive set that Coach Valentine loves to do with Dez going down and kind of backing in and then creating from there off of spacing. But he's got to realize when he's getting double or triple team.
Now Corbett. Off that screen is Cardet. Right back to Corbett behind the arc. Now tries to dribble. And a little fall away shot is an air ball. And it goes out of bounds.
Well, yeah, so Andy, the Rambler keys today: contain penetration. We saw early and often already Chicago State really wants to attack the rim. The Ramblers need to execute their offense. They've kind of been a motion team spaced out. Let's see it get a little bit tighter. And then defensive rebounding excellence. Make sure that you only give the offense one shot.
Extra pass made. Watson for three. Nope. And Rubin trying to get in there to get a hand on it. Corbett came down with it. John Charles. Spinning in the paint. He fires one home.
And this is by design. You can tell Coach Gillian is telling them to attack the Rambler guards. Chicago State has some size, length, and athleticism that they're definitely trying to use early on.
Now Dawson to the top for Rubin. Dawson once again taking over in front of the bench of the Cougars, and that throws away. And now a clear path to the hole, and a layup is good for Brent Davis.
Well, we talked about a trap game. You know, the Ramblers need to understand that this game is probably one of the most important games of the season for Chicago State.
Always seems that way, especially when teams that you don't see very often come in here and play, especially a city rivalry. Cougars trying to establish themselves.
And something Coach Gillian is trying to establish in this Chicago State program is belief and not acceptance of mediocrity. He wants to win and he wants excellence.
Jump pass underneath is lost out of bounds. Not a very good start for Loyola, unfortunately, for the Ramblers here tonight. For their first three from the field.
And we can see that Chicago State is doing on defense what we like to call heating up the ball. They're not allowing the Rambler guards to even breathe for a minute, to hesitate, to gather themselves. They're pressuring them. And what the Ramblers need to do is establish control and poise. So if Braden or Dolan have the ball, back out a little bit, turn your back to the defender a la Magic Johnson, give yourself a little bit of breathing room, or create off the dribble and attack the rim, which will cause the defender to back off a little bit.
So Green will bring it up. Jalen Quinn in for the first time for the Ramblers, 2 in the white home jersey. And a nice play there by Rubin. And a steal. See if the Ramblers can turn this into points. Watson has it. Leading scorer on the ball club, goes all the way inside. Throws one up, no good. Whistle, foul, and block. So Watson trying to force the issue there.
Yeah, it looks like Kendrick Green might have had his feet inside the... he was actually established out there. I think that's going to go along with the new rule, which we've talked about this year, where the defense has to have both feet planted before the offensive player plants his last foot to extend. So probably just a half a step slow for Green that time.
So the foul on Green is first. Ramblers just having trouble scoring.
But you got to credit the Chicago State defense. They are aggressive. They're in the right position. They're physical. And right now the Ramblers are getting some good ball movement. But like Coach Valentine talked today when we were talking with him before the game, he wants to see a lot of north-south movement with the ball, not so much east-west. And early on in this game so far, the Ramblers, a lot of east-west.
6-1, Chicago State, the early lead here, just under 17 minutes to go in the first half. All the way down the lane is Cardette. He missed that one. Excellent defense by David Ellikin. Now Norris got a man in the air. Nice feed inside to Ellikin. Reverse layup is good.
Well, you love to see that from Braden early on, to where he's breaking down off the dribble. And Dane does a great job of finding the open space. Nice little drop pass by Braden.
6-3 now the score. Chicago State the lead in the basketball. And now Green a long three. Nothing but net.
Boy, these Cougars came to play. I mean, it is something with the way that they're attacking. These guys are all good athletes. A lot of guys from Florida, where Coach Gillian has a lot of recruiting ties from. These guys can get up and down the floor quick.
Dawson, quick trigger three, ripped in and out. And one and done. Davis brings it back up for the Cougars. Has to float it out of trouble. Corbin now Green will hold right in front of us. Shot clock down to 14. It's a 9-3 Cougars lead after that three by Green. 4 to shoot. Davis floats one and just got the rim, but not even close.
Yeah, really good ball screen defense that time by Dez and Dame, I believe. Allowed him to penetrate, but got a good challenge on the shot.
Wayne looking to go inside, floats one up, and it's no good, but a foul coming up. And that will send us to our very first officials timeout of the evening. Tough goal of it so far for the Ramblers. See if they can talk things over and get back on pace here. 9-3, Cougars have the lead over the Ramblers.
Live sports.
And he knows where to find players that are diamonds in the rough. And if you look at this team he has out there now, in all the years I've ever played against Chicago State when I was at Valpo, coached against them, or broadcasted, this starting five, top to bottom, is easily the most talented they've ever had.
Jalen Quinn, good on his first free throw. Gillian has a little help on his bench from someone a little familiar with this program here at Loyola, Scott Spinelli, former assistant coach here back in the 2000s under Larry Farmer.
Yeah, he's been everywhere.
He has. Boston College, Wichita State. He's been everywhere. So a couple of free throws for Jalen Quinn. 4-point game now, 9-5 in favor of the Cougars. Davis will try to attack. Thompson that one off the rim, no good, and the rebound lost underneath, and a foul coming up. And we'll stay on this side of the floor.
If I'm a Rambler guard, this is just one of the games where I hate playing defense because these Chicago State guards are attacking what I like to call in basketball terms violently. Physical, hard. They're not worried if they make contact. They're playing through contact. And by the end of a game like this, you're going to have bruises all over your chest. Your legs are going to be absolutely wiped out because you're having to move laterally so much. And the one thing we see with the Chicago State guards is they can change direction very quickly. It really makes you earn that conditioning during the summertime guarding players like this.
Now Cameron Jernigan is bumped. And Dawson will pick up that foul, number 1 on him. So 14:45 left, 9-5 in favor of Chicago State. Now pass will come in. Now working back to the top of the floor with Cardette. Cardette Jr. Points went up on a rainbow from 3 is no good. And a rebound underneath and a whistle again coming up. And I think that's going to be on Quinn as well.
Well, this is what we saw and what we talked to Coach Valentine about. What Chicago State likes to do is they'll take a lot of ill-advised threes like that one. You know, plenty of time on the shot clock. You don't need to shoot a fadeaway 35-footer, but then they use their athleticism to go get a rebound and draw a foul again.
It floats out to Cardette. Into the corner. 3-ball up. John Charles missed. Creighton Norris, excellent position inside to get that rebound, and then he's tripped. With a full head of steam by Green. Probably number 2 on Green.
Yeah, games like this, Andy, where chaos rules is difficult to play. We see Braden gets tripped up there. A lot of times, if a team creates chaos for you, and as a team, you can never establish a rhythm on offense or defense. Sometimes it's just backyard basketball. You got to do whatever you got to do to make a basket and get a stop.
So Dolan back in. Watson, a high-low pass underneath. And Delican had a hard time catching, does finally gather it. Now works his way toward the basket. It was poked away from him and lost. And now Neal bringing it back up. Cardette. Around near side again to Neal. Just under 14 minutes to go in the first half. 9-5. Cougars lead the Ramblers.
Really good ball movement by Chicago State here. And good pressure there by Dez.
Pass underneath. It was deflected out of bounds by the Ramblers, they're going to say. I'm not sure anybody got a fingertip on it or not. The crowd here does not like it when they say it went off of Lava. Now a big Euro step toward the basket, and a bank shot is good from Cardette.
And probably could have drawn a foul if this was at Chicago State's home court on that one.
Now Mwamba for 3. Nope. Tracks down his own rebound. Got 2 men in the air. And then 2 Chicago State Cougars fighting for that rebound.
Patrick loves that right corner 3 in transition. He even loves more the shot fake slide step to shoot for it. I think Patrick is a guy that can really be effective in this game with his versatility and athleticism. The Ramblers are going to need him to clean up a lot of messes, get a lot of rebounds, some offensive tip backs, and make some defensive stops.
11-5 Cougars. Double team there in the corner. And Jernigan. Corbett in his travel. So Deshaun Corbett turns it over. It's Rambler ball to inbound in front of their very own bench.
And every shot by the Ramblers being challenged with a high hand physicality by Chicago State. And we're seeing it in the stats. So far, the Ramblers 1 for 6 from the field, 4 turnovers as well. Something that Coach Valentine and his staff are watching very close this season.
Norris against Cardette. Takes him all the way inside. Ball poked away. And then Norris tried to save it. It's out of bounds to the Ramblers. With 12:46 to go in the first half. Looks like a wave coming in and out of the game here for Chicago State.
Well, I mean, with the intensity that they play every possession, they're going to need to sub in.
Dawson open. Seven to shoot for Norris. And he had it taken away from him on the weak side. You can see that one coming.
Yeah, again, over dribble down there in that post point position.
So another turnover here for the Ramblers. Down 6. Here, folks, 12 minutes to go first half. Davis out of Jernigan at the top, left open by Rubin. Corbett hoists the lefty three. Up off the heel of the rim. Rubin hot for that rebound. It's going to be out of bounds to the Ramblers.
Well, good read by Greg Dolan that time to go underneath the screen. I mean, nobody for Chicago State is really burning up the nets from three-point range, so you don't want to put yourself in a position to get beat off the dribble on penetration. And I think this is a situation right now where the Ramblers really need some of this senior leadership that Dolan can provide to slow them down and get them in a rhythm.
And a foul on the dribble, and that's going to be on Crawford. It'll be his first. And it sends us to an official's timeout here on the floor. 11:57 to go. Ramblers got some work to do here midway through this first half of play.
Legacy players to instill the culture and the defensive systems, which are extremely complex. So it's going to take a while before they get everything to click with the Ramblers. But when they do, this defense is tough to beat.
Toss it high low to Rubin inside a tough catch. He tried to bounce it off someone, but able to get it back and then throws it away. Neal gets it back. John Charles, a whip it around the far side. That ball is knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Cougars.
I'll tell you what, Andy, if Chicago State can sustain this level of competitiveness, physicality, and effort for 40 minutes, they're going to be a tough team to beat, not only this evening, but the rest of the season. This is pretty impressive, the way that they're playing. I mean, every possession, every pass, whatever end of the floor it's on, they are intense and aggressive.
Sheldon Edwards has come into the game for the first time for the Ramblers, 13 in white. Dolan still shy of the timeline, looking for help. Finds Edwards. Now, comes back up to Dolan. 15 to shoot. Dolan down the lane. Watson will give it right back to him. Now 6 to shoot. Rubin, 4 on the clock. 3 on the clock. Edwards will hoist a long distance three. Nope, off the rim. And a rebound by Neal, but a nice play by Watson underneath. That ball squirts out of bounds, though. Last touch by Watson.
We've seen with the Ramblers this season, they are always the first to the floor, and teams and coaches chart that. They love that. The teams that usually win games and championships are teams that pride themselves on being first to the floor. You gotta love how Dez has bought into that level of it's sacrificing yourself and just being a great team player.
11-5 Chicago State. Nice little give and go underneath, and Corbett missed the shot, and Dolan blocked his rebound attempt. Here come the Ramblers the other way. Some defense can turn into some offense here, this time down the floor. That ball knocked away and out of bounds. Davis punched it out of Watson's hands.
Well, one of the things we're seeing that the Ramblers have struggled with, and they know it too, is trying to create without any contact. Just off-ball, one-on-one. They may have some movement. Coach Valentine talked about not moving the ball east-west, but moving it north-south. I'd love to see some more on-ball actions. Little 2-3 zone here now by Chicago. Try something creative. Try something away from the ball.
Watson got a screen. 8 to shoot. And the extra pass stolen away. Cardette all the way down the lane. Shot is blocked. Retrieved by the Cougars. Ramblers averaging nearly 5.5 blocks a game. That was a big one right there.
You don't teach that, you recruit it. They did a heck of a job with that this season.
Oh, they're just barely staying in bounds there. Goes on Dawson and throws it down.
Yeah. 10th point in the paint for the Cougars. They're having their way, working the ball around, and again, just being extremely physical.
Dolan, a sweeping left-hand layup, no. A delicate underneath with 4 men around him. A stutter step and a shot that did not go down. You talk about the ball faking. You fake me out with the ball in the air.
Well, Dame is very at home, very comfortable with the ball in the paint. You'll see that a lot this season where he'll get the ball and just take his time down there. We saw a possession early on in the game where he ended up getting the ball stolen from him. But that's just kind of that senior upperclassman leadership guy that's seen a lot of wars, and he knows not to get too excited, not to get too worked up over the score this early in the game. And having a guy like that in there who in the past for the Ramblers was your Cam Crutwood, your Lucas Williamson, someone that can just stabilize with their presence being on the court. And I think Dame is definitely one of those guys this season.
Christian Arnault will come into the game for the first time here for the Cougars. A guy from Florida. Davie, Florida, to be exact. That shot missed, so 1 of 2 at the line for a delicate. 13-6. The lead to the Cougars.
But Coach Gillian must have brought all these guys up for the recruiting visit in the summertime, huh?
Yeah, not now. I'll tell you that right now. That was way off the mark. Shot out of bounds. Actually, last touch by the Ramblers. Yeah, this would not be a good time to recruit kids from warm weather climates. It was rather chilly this morning when walking the dog. Let's just tell you that. I'll get my hat and gloves out of the mothballs. Inside Corbin, lean-in shot, no. Nice win there for the rebound. He'll hustle it across. Here comes Edwards, a full head of steam. A little contact there, but not enough to cause a foul. Now Dolan. Back to an elegant. Draws a double team. And will give it up and get it back. 10 to shoot. Nice little give and go. There's a hole there. I can see that from here.
I really love what Coach Valentine's doing here, getting Sheldon Edwards in. Sheldon can really create off the dribble. He's an exceedingly smart player. We saw that time he went to settle an away screen from Braden. Read the defense was high, and so he slipped, and that's how he got the foul. But I think Sheldon Edwards is a guy that can bring a dynamic offensive perspective from the guard position for this Rambler team this season.
Open is Norris. He'll pull the trigger on a high-arcing three and buries it. That was a big shot for this Rambler team.
Well, just picking up where he left off against BC, and he needs to keep that momentum going for this team. He has to be able to knock down those threes to stretch out the defense.
I need some stops. Crawford at the top will spin around into a double team. Corbett on Edwards. He draws the double. Crawford underneath. Pull-up shot. No. Rebound tap. Controlled by Quinn in the backcourt. They have to throw it off of Crawford because he was falling out of bounds. Smart move there by Jalen Quinn.
Boy, this is just playing against this type of defense from Chicago State, Andy. It just wears you down mentally and physically. It's like when you're playing AAU and you've got a Tuesday morning game at 7 a.m. and some guy for the other team's picking you up full court when there's not a single coach there. It's just one of those things that you don't expect, but you have to deal with.
And the Cougars like a swarm. I mean, they're just coming from all angles.
Yeah.
And they're hovering and the backdoor action there. That ball stolen away momentarily, but Delican got it back. Quick ball movement. Quinn with 7 to shoot. Edwards pulls the trigger. Corner three is good.
Great ball movement inside out, too, which created that. And like we said, Sheldon Edwards capable of making a lot of plays for this team with the ball.
Well, as bad as it's been, it's a one-point game.
Yeah, Ramblers are lucky to only be down by 1 at this point. Chicago State has missed a lot of close-range shots.
Ramblers on a 7-0 run. High-arcing shot down by Cardette.
Boy, that's a tough shot. You know, again, Cardette, top 60 player in the country from Florida, ends up at Chicago State. I'd love to hear that story from Coach Gillian.
And now Edwards, another three, and he buries it. What a lead pass as well into that corner.
Yeah, he's letting the Chicago State bench know about it, too.
And we're tied at 15. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first. Ramblers successful in their last 3 field goals. John Charles, three will quiet the crowd.
Man, just really good ball movement that time. Good defense by the Ramblers, too. You just got to credit John Charles for knocking down a tough shot.
Not afraid to shoot. He's only averaging 24% from beyond the arc. Calmly sank that one. Ramblers down three. Edwards with a hot hand. Delican trying to come in there to disrupt the rebound, but here come the Cougars one more time.
Got to do it. Got to have the heat check.
Nice defensive play by Dolan, but he's going to be whistled for a foul. And that will send us to an official's timeout on the floor. We have 6:12 to go. 18-15 in favor of the Cougars, but the Ramblers showing some signs of life from behind the arc.
Big shots for the Ramblers and letting the Chicago State bench know about it on the way back. And then on the other end for Chicago State, we got John Charles, who nice 1-2 step into the three-pointer there. And Andy, anytime at the Division I level, if you give someone the ability to catch 1-2 step into a shot, they're going to make it. You got to play a little bit better defense than that. And I'm sure Coach Valentine was letting his charges know about that during that timeout break.
So a three-point game. At one point, it was an 8-point lead for Chicago State. Ramblers battled back to tie it at 15, but that three-pointer that you just saw there from John Charles has us where we are now at 18-15. Crawford open for three and hits.
Well, risky move that time. It'll be interesting to see if that's what Coach Valentine wanted, where they were going to set the high ball screen, and the Rambler defense went to double team it, which left him wide open for that three-point shot.
Dolan went trying to get a step. Still trying. Lead in shot now is good. Stuck with it and scored.
Yeah, I love Quinn. He really knows how to play. He knows how to win. And Coach Valentine has spoken so highly of him and his ability not only just to understand the Rambler system, but to add a potent offensive angle to this Rambler team.
17 starts last year. Valuable member off that bench now as Cardette banks it home.
Well, he for sure didn't mean to do that one, but good as player as him, a lot of times things just happen to fall the right way for you.
Back to a 6-point advantage just that quickly for Chicago State.
And sometimes this defense that Chicago State is employing looks almost like a 2-3 zone here, but they're actually switching 1 through 5.
Watson lost the handle and saved inbounds. Davis. Chicago State will run a little clock here. 4:44 to go first half. And a miss by Cardette. And the weak side rebound by Dolan.
Yeah, really good defense by Braden that time. Cardette forcing that one.
Chicago State bench wanting to travel there, but Quinn goes all the way in, draws contact, no whistle. Maybe the
officials letting them play on this one.
Maybe the equalizer on that contact underneath, perhaps.
Yeah, we see here nice little penetration there, and you know they talk about verticality all the time, and apparently the officials thought that the Chicago State player there had verticality, so Jaden couldn't get the call. But you know, again, I can't stress this enough, that the Ramblers need to start to create some more offense other than the one-on-one. They need to use each other, off-ball screens. You can do that if you want to do 4-out or 5-out spacing, Andy. You can still have off-ball actions, create contact. You have to force the defense to make adjustments. And if you're just playing one-on-one, unless you've got some really, really elite players at the Division I level, you need to have a little bit of help with some physical contact from a ball screen or an away screen.
You can't make the defense make a choice.
You got to make them work, yeah. Choose the shooter or choose the penetrator.
Davis has got away with an arm bar right there. 10 to shoot. Under 4 to play here in this first half. Deal with 3. Behind the back pass. Tough catch by... That was Jernigan inside. And the shot clock expired, but that ball did hit something. And now Norris back the other way here for the Ramblers.
Yeah, really solid defensive possession right by the Ramblers.
Edwards just had the hot hand. Give it back up. Norris. Nice little give and go inside. Edwards contact and no basket. No foul. That will send us to our final official timeout of half number one. We have 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining here in this first half. Cougars 23 and the Ramblers 17.
I remember my first day here at Caputo. I was 10 years old. To think that we started in the basement of our home and are now one of the largest cheese processors in the United States. It really is an amazing family story. From our classic Caputo grated cheeses to our award-winning fresh mozzarella, our products possess the quality, flavor, and consistency that only high standards and our family pride can produce.
Today will be the worst day of someone's life, but we'll be ready. Loyola Medicine's Level 1 Trauma Center is prepared for any emergency, no matter how severe. Our surgical and emergency teams are ready to perform complex procedures. Doctors, nurses, and technicians who face just about everything will devote themselves to saving the day and saving lives. Loyola Medicine. When things are at their worst, we're at our best. At Loyola University Chicago, tomorrow isn't soon enough. We make an impact today. We learn to lead on a world stage. Top-ranked teaching ignites our minds. To innovate, always with purpose. A dynamic community sparks our spirit to reimagine and solve what is possible. We won't wait to build a brighter future. We do it today. We are Loyola University Chicago.
There you see Wesley Cardette Jr., and he has 6 points here and leads the way for Chicago State.
Well, you can tell that Cardette not only, he's leading the way with points, but he sets the tone offensively for this team with his aggressiveness. You can really tell that this team has just been coached to attack the defensive shoulder of whoever's guarding them, and to not hesitate. And again, it's a very physical, fast, they adjust quick. They don't overthink the situation. Now, it's caused them to get into some tough situations and miss some close shots. But Cardette, he could have a really good career, almost kind of an all-time player career for Chicago State with the way that he plays and being the level of player that he has. If he has success there, enjoys the program, enjoys the campus, the university, that's going to draw up more players. And we see here, he can create off the dribble. We know that he didn't call bank on that one. Yeah, didn't call that one, but scorers just know how to score, and the ball falls the right way for him. And so let's see if he can sustain this, Andy, for 40 minutes. So far, he's had a really good 16 and a half minutes in this game against the Ramblers. We'll see if he can sustain this level of play for 40 minutes.
So Sheldon Edwards, the free throw line. First one is no good. You kind of wonder about the stamina factor. I mean, I know they're playing a lot of guys in Chicago State, but they've had a couple of games where they've gotten completely blown out and haven't scored many points. And you wonder if the conditioning may have something to do with it late in this game, but the Ramblers could keep it close.
Yeah, be interesting to see. Again, he's shuffling players in and out pretty quick, so he knows that his guys are playing hard.
Emptying the tank and then going to have a seat. And Green gets by, and Rubin touched it, but it's went down anyway.
Yeah, miscommunication up top there. Coach Valentine's looking at it. He's disappointed in that one. You never, especially when you pride yourself on defense like the Ramblers have, want to give up a straight line drive like that.
Back to an 8-point lead, the largest of the game for Chicago State. Ramblers had it tied at 15. Chicago State has hit 5 of its last 7. Ramblers haven't scored in 2.5 minutes. Watson. Little pass inside. Rubin with a two-hand block.
Yeah, really creative. I love that by Des Watson, who's just been incentivized more and more to create off the dribble. Nice patience there. And as you're going to see from Miles Rubin, he really is a patient player that knows the game and knows spacing.
The timeout called by Chicago State. We'll keep it right here, 25-19. That's the score with 2:35 left to go. And in this timeout, if you are Coach Valentine, what are you saying?
Well, I'm leaning into these guys. You know, the Ramblers have been playing catch-up the whole game. We talk about, the calls go to the aggressor all the time. Chicago State's been the aggressor on both ends of the floor, and they have to learn to use each other on the offensive end. Like defensively, Ramblers are doing fine. I mean, 25 points at half, that's really good. But 19 points offensively, especially with this type of firepower. We see this time, Des, nice old penetration and drop for Miles, who spaces with the flush. But you're not going to get that every time. Again, just trying to create off the dribble. You have to do something different. Run a set, run an action, run a flow, some sort of a system to get the defense to work and have to guard multiple actions at the same time. I love analytics. I'm a big analytics geek. And if we're looking at the plus minus right now for the Ramblers, and I talk about this often, they only have 3 players in the positive. Jalen, Sheldon, and Dame all at +3, which is not where you want to be in this situation.
The Cougars restart play. And Green. Now Jean-Charles. Cardette off that screen, picked up by Edwards. 2 to shoot, and a steal. Watson ahead steam. Now finds Edwards. He'll pull up for 3. Got it!
Now Sheldon Edwards earning that PT real quick here, Andy. I tell you what, this is something that the Ramblers have desperately needed. Someone that's playing good, hard-nosed defense on the ball like he is, but also the ability to knock down tough shots.
Baseline pass, and the 3 is long, and Edwards in there for the rebound. He'll start Norris back. Now Watson. Norris clears some space for himself. Hand check. 15 to shoot. Watson with a jab step. 8 on the shot clock.
Too many passes around the perimeter.
Dawson pulls up baseline, air ball.
It's exactly what Coach Valentine said he didn't want to do offensively. Rainbow pass around laterally or over around the 3-point line. Got to get that north-south movement. Penetrate, attack, kick. Penetrate, attack, kick.
As we hit the 1-minute mark to go here in half number 1. 3-point lead for the Cougars with the ball. Cardette over Rubin and misses. Edwards to clear the glass. 20 seconds difference between the shot and the game clock, and Loyola will call a timeout. The old 30-second use it or lose it timeout.
Well, the Ramblers have been fantastic with this use it or lose it timeout throughout the years. Patrick Wallace used to be the one that drew up all of these plays right before the buzzer. They were really creative, really good. Ramblers just haven't had that many opportunities to do that this season. I think they had maybe one other time against Eastern Illinois, but Coach Valentine has in his arsenal a number of plays to try and get a good look. And Andy, the thing I'm going to be watching for during this possession is they're probably going to come out and run a set play, okay?
Right.
And let's see what happens when they get this. We see a great defensive play by Des here, who's really taken a lot of leadership for this team on both ends of the floor. And again, Sheldon Edwards just earning more and more PT here, buddy. Every shot he knocks down, every play on defense where he's stopping that penetration, he's making himself useful to this team and putting Coach Valentine in a position where you have to play a guy that produces like that.
Now, let's see what they have drawn up coming out of this timeout. 25-22, Chicago State with the lead. 46 seconds to go. Chicago State was hot from the start. Actually got out to an 8-point lead on a couple of different occasions. The Ramblers tied it at 15 and have never led in this game.
Yeah, so again, let's see here. I would love to see, and we most likely will see, some sort of a set play where there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of screening, a lot of physicality, and let's see what that produces for the Ramblers.
We're going to get it into Watson. Oh, Braden Norris. All the way in. Now Watson faked the 3, trying to clear some space. Here, steal there, and Edwards pulls the trigger on a 3, ran in and out. Rubin had it and then lost it out of bounds. Someone hit the deck hard. I can't see who that is. That was Davis for the Cougar. Looks to be okay.
Now that one almost went in.
It certainly did.
Yeah, nice little action, but we see just how that little side ball screen, the easiest thing between Miles and Braden, allowed Braden to be able to turn the corner. And if it was, I don't know if it was Sheldon or Dez that if they would have stayed in that corner, they would have been wide open for a three, but they hedged up.
Shot clock off. 23 seconds to go in the half. Ramblers down by 3, hoping to keep it right there. With a good defensive set here. Green saying, everybody, get out of my way. Rubin up to flash on it, 5 seconds. Pass inside, bothered and blocked by Rubin. And the horn will sound, and that one was good.